Okay, I think we hit all the boxes this time. So welcome everybody. I'm Justin Hopper. I am the Chief of Civil Rights for CDFA. Most of you know me at this point. I am also the Chair for the Disability Advisory Committee for CDFA. I also want to take a moment and thank my cohorts who helped put this together, Madison McMahon and Jessica Billingsley. Without them, we would not have been able to get our speaker series together for Guide Dog Awareness Month. And so it's really great to have you guys here from Canine Companions. We have 3 guests with their little friends from Canine Companions. And so I'm going to turn it over to you guys. It's all yours, and I will control the PowerPoint on my end. And if you need this microphone, I'm just going to set it on the table here so you guys can fight over it. So without further ado, Canine Companions, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting us and allowing us to share our wonderful organization. My name is Kathy Zastro. My family and I have been volunteers with Canine Companions for Independence for over 30 years. I brought with me my current puppy in training. His name is Craig. Craig just turned 1 year old, and he is the 30th puppy that we've raised for Canine Companions.
And do I need the mic?
And now I will introduce you to my other volunteers that are with me.
And my name is Karen Riggs. I've been with Canine Companions for about 7 years. This is Bagel. She is my 4th puppy I've raised. I have also been a breeder caretaker for the organization. And Bagel is about 15 weeks old.
Hi, I'm Michelle Murphy, and I have been with Canine Companions since 2017 for years. I have Rumor with me. I actually raised Rumor. She was the 2nd puppy I raised, but they selected her to be a breeder. So she's spending the day with me. And my 4th puppy, I just turned in for advanced training. So we'll get the news next week on how she's doing. So it's exciting.
So thanks so much for allowing us to present our organization. We are part of the Gold Rush chapter of Canine Companions. That is the Sacramento chapter. We are the largest chapter in the nation for Canine Companions. First of all, did you know that there are 64 million adults and children in the United States living with a disability, and thousands apply to Canine Companions every year. So in 1975, a new idea to train a dog to help a person with a physical disability changed one life, and today Canine Companions so far have changed over 7,600 lives, and we're continuing on. Our mission. So established in 1975 in a garage, which turned out to be our headquarters. We've grown a lot since then in Santa Rosa, California. We are the first service dog organization in the nation, accredited by the Assistance Dog International. And we specifically use Labradors and Golden Retrievers and a cross of the two. There are 6 regional training centers in the United States. We have Northwest, Southwest, North Central, South Central, Southwest, and here in the Northwest. Our mission is we're a nonprofit organization that enhances the lives of people with disabilities by providing expertly trained service dogs and ongoing support to ensure quality partners. And let's go to the next one. Our history, I already went through the history. I was off. So our service teams that we provide service dogs for. Yeah, I can't read. So we provide service dogs for adults and children with physical disabilities. Adults and children ages 5 and older with cognitive or developmental disabilities, such as autism or other emotional or developmental or cognitive disabilities that require the assistance of a caregiver to manage the dog. We also provide hearing dogs for people with hearing loss or deafness. And we also have a veterans program that provides dogs for veterans that are affected by traumatic stress disorder. Okay. We have facility teams working in healthcare, in education, or in the criminal justice system. And these facility dogs go to work with professionals that work with these different groups of people. They are required to do about 20 hours a week with specific individuals, but they do not have public access. We also have a therapy dog program, which many of our dogs that do not make it, we have about a 50% success rate. And those that aren't successful within our program have alternative placement, and that includes our new therapy dog program. So while Canine Companion's mission is to provide highly trained service dogs to people with disabilities, we believe that the dogs released from our program can still have an incredible ripple effect in the world through working as a therapy dog. More than 1/3 of our dogs that are released from service become therapy dogs with other organizations. And with this goal in mind, we have created a program to certify our own amazing dogs to have the opportunity to provide support and comfort to members in our community. So the most common disabilities that we have served since 1975, and you can see by the graph there, but this is not all inclusive. With just a few exceptions, we provide dogs for the majority of people that have different disabilities. The impact of our community is unfounded. It's just had an amazing impact. We hear stories all the time of how people that have been matched with some of our dogs, they knew the dog would be there to help them physically, but they didn't understand the emotional impact and the ripple effect it had on everybody that they come in contact with, whether it be their families, neighbors, friends. They just have an incredible impact on everybody that they meet. So as of July, so our numbers have increased since then. We have 2,711 active clients nationwide. And just up until July, we had 125 teams that graduated up to that date. We have 479 dogs supporting veterans and 125 breeding dogs. A lot of them are in the Sacramento area. All three of us have been breeder caretakers. I've been a breeder caretaker for 3 male dogs. Karen has been a breeder caretaker for 2 female dogs, and Michelle also for 2. So next. So at a glance, this is the progress of the journey of a puppy in training. They're born into a home like Karen and Michelle's, who have the female breeder in the home, and they're whelped in the home. And they reside there for about 8 weeks. And it's a lot of work for the breeder caretakers, but they love every minute of it. Having anywhere from 2 to 12 puppies in your home, plus the mama dog, it's busy, but it's extremely rewarding and they love every minute of it. When the dogs are about 8 weeks old, then they go to the regional training centers where they have a evaluation medically and temperament wise, and they're given their first puppy shots. And then they're sent all over the United States. We have a great group of volunteer pilots with their private aircraft that literally fly the puppies throughout the United States to the different regions. And that's a great way to volunteer if you have that within your repertoire. From the regional centers, then they go to the puppy raisers. We've all been puppy raisers. And so we get the puppies when they're 7 to 8 weeks old. We keep them about 16 months. Our main job is to socialize them, get them through the puppy stages, and we do a fair amount of training. We teach them about 30 commands. We do go to puppy classes. We're required to go to 2 classes a month. And we just socialize the dog, take them wherever we can. If we go out to dinner, to movies, to church, to restaurants, wherever a graduate person with a service dog might need to go. That's what we try to do, is make sure the dog is appropriate in that situation. At the end of our puppy raising time, we then take the dogs to the regional centers, and they go into the centers and work with professional trainers for 6 to 9 months. And during that time, they determine where they'd be best used, and they focus on that particular training. They learn, they fine tune the skills that we've worked with them on, and then they add 15 or so more extras. And the dogs are always trainable. That's one unique benefit to our dogs, is they're always willing to work and willing to train and learn more. So when they go with the individual that they're there to help, they can always learn more, and it's very valuable for them. At the end of working with the professional trainers, when the dogs are ready, then they call in the people on the waiting list that have been waiting for at least 2 years to be called to the training centers. They have a 2-week team training. They work with a few other dogs, but the trainers usually already have a dog in mind to meet their needs. And so they work for 2 weeks of intense training. And then at the end of the 2 weeks is a graduation, a huge graduation ceremony where the puppy raisers get to go meet the individual who is graduating with their dog, and they get to see their dog for the first time in 6 to 9 months and understand all of their hard work and how invaluable it is to that person that's going to be taking the dog home and change their lives. Okay, what do we have next? So our volunteer opportunities, for those of you that might be interested, we always have puppy raisers in need of puppy raisers, in need of sitters or foster homes for some of them. It's an all hands-on volunteer program. And specifically in our regions in California, we have really strong support groups, such as our local chapter in the Sacramento area. It is an approximately 16 to 18 month commitment. We are responsible for the care of the dog while the puppy is with us, such as the food, the puppy shots, any incidental vet bills, etc. We do attend training classes, and there's also an opportunity to co-raise with somebody. Michelle and actually Karen right now are co-raising their current puppies with another individual. Another thing that we have is a prison program. We have prisons throughout the United States that are also co-raising some of these puppies. So the puppies go into the prisons, spend anywhere from 2 weeks to several months, and then they come out and they work with people puppy raisers outside of the prison so that they get that sort of social time with the other puppy raisers. You can also become a community advocate, making presentations in your community clubs, associations, or organizations, or schools. We're always available to give presentations. We really enjoy doing that. You can help with a community booth. We always go to different places and set up booths to bring awareness, community awareness. We also need social media influences if anybody's interested that is in doing that sort of thing. We have a lot of fundraising events that you can participate in. These dogs are given completely free of charge to the recipient with ongoing support. And it's really important that we help provide funding for these. The dogs are valued at over $50,000 each. And when we provide that many graduates every year, it adds up a lot. We hold a lot of fundraising events. We have a lot of committee leaders needed and committee members. We hold chapter meetings, but we also have fun in our chapters with a lot of support. We have campus opportunities if you want to go to our campus in Santa Rosa. It's a wonderful campus, and it's always fun to just go and take a tour or come to a graduation. It's really special. So how you can support, volunteer, spread the word, donate. Whatever you can do is extremely helpful, and we appreciate it all. Would you two like to add anything?
I think you really covered everything, but I will tell you, it is a wonderful organization, and our prison program especially has been quite successful. Repeat offenders are pretty much non-existent if they've raised a puppy in prison. So I know we're trying to get more prison programs in California. We just started one with the big prison, San Quentin. And we are currently working with a local prison to try and add that as well. So we lost Folsom Women's when they shut down. So we currently send our puppies to Stockton if we want them to have some prison time. But it's a win-win for everybody. Prisoners are winning, graduates are winning because they're getting service dogs. We love the organization. There's a lot of social aspects to it. We do a lot of events. We have dine and donates. It's just been great. So I started this in a classroom. I raised three dogs in a classroom with 5th grade students. And I continue to work at my school as a substitute and bring her when I have her. And I also have a therapy dog that goes to school with me and is still carrying on the work as a therapy dog.
And I'm like I said earlier, I'm on my 4th puppy. She's in, we call it Canine University, advanced training, professional training, whatever. But anyway, I haven't seen her since August 11th. And I will get her first report next week. And I think one of the things when I first started, the first time I was a puppy raiser, I would have people say to me, I just don't know how you can do it. I would get too attached. And I thought, wow, at first I was like, wow, is there something wrong with me that I can do this, right? But once you see what the lives that are changed with these dogs, then you just say, I can do this. Because for whatever reason, it just seems, I love to watch, the little, we get them like 8 weeks, and watching them learn and how they change and everything it's a lot of joy. It's hard to explain, and it's not for everybody. But for me, it's just a wonderful thing. So I think that it's not that we don't have a heart, because trust me, we cry when we turn these guys in, and we have to, I say, I don't public ugly cry, but you do. So, but it's all worth it. It's a beautiful experience.
Are there any
Thank you.
questions?
I was wondering if you could. Hold on, no, I don't want you to talk anything. Show the dogs on the screen somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Have them walk
If you
around.
step back, the camera should be able to get you guys right at the head of the table. So for those online, we're trying to show you guys the dogs in the camera since our angles are limited.
So this one's Bagel. She's the 15-week-old puppy.
So say that again.
This is Bagel. She's the 15-week-old puppy.
I have Craig, who just turned a year old.
And I have rumor she's the senior one of the bunch. She'll be 5 next month.
Cool. All right. So we did get a comment in the chat, and I think you guys will appreciate this. Delia said, Canine Companions is also listed on the Our Promise campaign for easy donation through your pay warrant. Jessica and I were just talking about this. Our Promise is about to start, and I donate to different organizations. I know a lot of people in the department do, so it is a great opportunity. They say hi, Delia. So do we have any questions either online or in the audience here for our guests? Either put them in the chat and I can read them, or you can come off mute, or if we have questions out here, yeah, go ahead.
So do you guys only train service dogs or do you have emotional support dogs as well?
Only service dogs.
Only service, okay. So what government agency certifies this, or you mentioned something earlier?
American Disabilities Association will certify our dogs.
Okay.
But
And-
it's not is it a government agency?
It's a government. I
Okay.
think it is. I think it's national government.
Okay.
National, okay.
Another thing that I personally experienced with my own children, I started doing this 30 years ago for my own children. And when they all went off to college, they all took puppies with them and raised puppies in college. And we have a lot of college students doing it. It's a great thing to do. We have a lot of high school students doing it. It looks very great on college applications. When they need to do a community service project, it's one of the best to do. And of course, when they have a puppy on campus, they're the most popular person on campus. So I had a lot of boys in my family, and they all just loved how the dogs would, be chick magnets. So that's always valuable too. But there are a lot of college clubs involved where the college students interact together and socialize together and have the puppies with them on campus. It's great.
I was just curious, once they're fully trained and they're with their clients, do the clients have to continue with like reinforcing the commands with treats? Do they continue that so they retain everything they learned, or do you guys do that?
No,
Like check in?
it's all individual. The clients will continue to utilize the commands that our dogs have learned as they need them, and add those that they need. If they don't need the command, it's not necessary for them to continue on. It's all individual and based on their needs.
In that 2 weeks, part of that is to train them how to work.
Yes, during the 2-week team training, the recipients it's really their training. They're being trained how to utilize the training of the dog to meet their needs.
They have to recertify.
Yes, so that's another thing. We have yearly follow-up where they need to be recertified. Our trainers, staff go check them out and make sure that the dog is healthy and doing the job that it was meant to do, and see if there's any extra needs that they can help with. So they follow up with the dogs. Continue to be owned by Canine Companions. They're just on loan to the individual. And once, and the dogs usually work 8 to 10 years, and then they go into retirement mode. And they get to live a nice retirement. Oftentimes they stay with the individual or someone in their family, or there is a wait list too for people that want to adopt a retiree and let them live their final years with them. Anything else?
I had
Yes,
a follow-up question. You may have already addressed this, but what kind of training do you receive as a puppy?
we have classes, and at the moment we have volunteer trainers. And so there's usually a class or two or more every week that we can go to, and in various areas. So it's convenient for us and at different convenient times too. And we do have access to quite private trainers, as well as from Canine Companions. They have Zoom training and a whole binder of skills and different things that we're supposed to, with a timeline of when we're supposed to train a specific task.
Don't give it to him.
So hi, David Pagos. I just wanted to give a shout out to Miss Riggs. She's awesome. She's the teacher for several of my kiddos, and she had the dog in the classroom as well, which I thought was awesome for the children to see as well, right? And to see that she can do philanthropic things as well as do her career. So she's a stellar young lady. I just want to give her a shout out to all the awesome
Got your
things.
son subbing yesterday.
Yeah, she's still a substitute in there as well. So she brings the dogs in as well. And again, I think it's great for the children in the room as well to see the opportunities there. So thanks for everything you all do here.
Any other questions, either online or from our peanut gallery here?
You better check your online.
I know, I need to see. I'm not seeing anything in the chat. If people want to come off mute, you can as well. I think we can hear you. Carol says, great presentation, so that's awesome.
Sure. You want me to go or you want?
So we're gonna have them show some commands of the dogs, because I don't think you guys heard that.
Sit. Stay up. Right here. Side. Yes. Down. Stand. Okay. Anybody else?
Do I need the mic or can they hear me?
We can hear you. I think online you need the mic. So we'll, oh yeah, you can hand that around too. That works.
I'm comfortable with the handheld. So Bagel, because of her age, she is at the food driven stage. So a lot of our training has to do with leading with food. Bagel, come here. Come here. Sit. Down. Yes. Now you'll notice, I don't know if they can see in the camera, her feet are flipped in. That is a big no-no, because if I was in a wheelchair, I'd run her feet over. So one of the things we're working on right now is her flipping. Bagel, down. Yes. Bagel, down. Yes. And eventually we should be able to, Michelle will probably demonstrate that we can exercise flipping that hip. So there's a lot of movements that we teach them to get them ready.
So when I had my first dog, I thought this was like the coolest trick. And our trainer used to say, go to a party and do this. So I'm going to step over her, and because she's advanced in her training, because she's almost 5, she's going to flip the right way. So she'll adjust. Rumor, down. No, oh geez, you get on camera. Okay, down. Okay, let's go. Well, I guess I don't have children, but this is what happens, I guess, when you have kids. Down. I know, we don't, unfortunately, people don't usually keep up on the training as much with breeders. Okay, here we go. One more try. There we go. Yay. Okay, one more. Yes, there you go. And of course, we teach them this S word, rumor, speak. Yes. And I'll probably, we'll try one more. Rumor. Rumor, back. Yes, good job.
What else do you guys want to see?
I
You have 30 words. That one does. That one does.
want to see all the tricks, but I'm wondering, how do you progress from this food motivated age to like just, is it just a command? Is it a movement? What's next?
So that's a really good question. All of our, we call them cues now, are verbal because we don't know who the recipient's going to be. So they may not have use of their hands. They do read body language very well. So Bagel, come here. Come here. You'll see at times I will just, without food, she's not strong at it yet. Bagel, let's go. Yes. So that's the next step. And then duration. So we will take the food away, but we'll still treat them when they're in position. So kind of knowing what they're ready for. And then less food as they get older because they know the word. So the treat is because they're learning. And once they know it, then eventually we expect them to do it without food.
Most of the time. Craig is really food motivated, so I'm struggling with doing that without food right now.
If you're in a wheelchair, do they pick up things from the floor and bring to you?
Yes, they do. That's one of the main cues, tasks that they do for people that are wheelchair users. And during their advanced training, they're trained to pick up everything. Anything from a cell phone to keys to coins to credit cards. One of my first experiences with seeing a service dog in action was with a very disabled man in a wheelchair. And he was in a market shopping, and the dog literally was taking items off the shelf and putting them into a basket in the front of his wheelchair. And then when they got to the checkouts, the dog literally got a wallet out of the backpack and got up on the counter and was able to pay for the man. So they provide so much independence for so many people, and they're so capable of doing so much more than we even know. We have a local graduate that in a wheelchair that had trouble doing laundry. And so she trained her dog to literally, such as pull the sheets off the bed and run them down the hallway to the laundry room and put them in the washer. And then as soon as they were finished, she'd pull them out of the washer and put them in the dryer. And same thing, pull them out of the dryer because our friend couldn't do that on her own. So and it was such a fun task for the dog to do. She loves doing that. So, and that's the other thing about these dogs, that Labs and Goldens and the Crosses in particular are they just want to please. And these are all fun things for them to do. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, so most of those task training, like picking up things, is provided at the Regional Training Center, so in Santa Rosa. And it's very specific to the track the dog's on. So if they're a hearing dog, the task that they learn is very different than a PTSD dog, for example. A PTSD dog would learn to do nightmare interruption. So they're trained to, if the veteran is having a nightmare, to pull the covers down, turn on the light switch, and then get back in bed with the veteran. They're trained to block. They're trained to sense anxiety and give them pressure. A lot of the service dogs are also trained to give pressure. So it really depends on the track they're placed on.
Our hearing dogs in particular are they alert their recipient to a baby crying, a smoke alarm, somebody knocking at the door, somebody calling their name. And almost all of our hearing grads just say that they sleep so much better, especially if they're by themselves, because they know that if something happens in the night, the dog will alert them and wake them up. Otherwise, they didn't know, they didn't hear.
Yeah, I heard about some dogs that can detect if a person is about to have a seizure.
Yes, we get that question asked a lot. That's a specific kind of training that the dog intuitively needs to know how or be able to do. Our dogs are not trained in that. Not that they can't have further training once they're with somebody that might have those issues, but they're not specifically trained for that. However, yes, we do, some of our dogs are transferred to other agencies, other volunteer organizations, and a couple of them in the Bay Area get several of our dogs as diabetic alert dogs. And they do a very good job at alerting to somebody that might be having low blood sugar or some issue.
Thank you.
So you mentioned PTSD, and so I was wondering, so it's a service then that they're performing for someone with PTSD, and that's what you guys would train for?
Specifically for veterans at this
Right.
point. It's a fairly new program. We worked with the Veterans Affair with a pilot program to see if it was something that they wanted to continue on, that the Veterans Administration wanted to continue on. And it's been very successful and very effective.
So how would someone get in on the list for that?
Canine.org.
Just
Go
repeat that.
online.
Okay.
Everything that you need is online, and can start a preliminary application and it'll go from there. It's quite involved, the application, as it should be, because they need to really understand the full impact, the full needs of the individual, and if our dogs are suitable to be able to meet their needs. And it does take quite a while. And once they're on the list, it's about a 2-hour wait because there's, I'm sorry, a 2-year wait.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Let me look online to make sure we're not missing any. John says, thank you for doing this. I learned and I greatly appreciate what you all do online.
Thank you.
Did you want to do a couple other commands to close us out?
Yeah, we can do it. Craig, up. Good, up. Good. Good. Good job. How about we? Oh. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Shake, shake.
Should we do the side and
All right. So this is side. Boy, good boy.
Do your heel. See if she'll go. The heel?
She did receive the inside. So they learned. We could open the door and we could be out, right? Yeah.
Oh, well, that's,
I don't know if this
it wouldn't
is
show up on
armed.
camera probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You could still do it with an invisible mark.
Oh, can I make it short? Okay, so I have a great story. I'll try to make it short because this is my favorite story. My first dog, her name was October. And about, I don't know, I think October was maybe close to almost a year, maybe about a year. I was at church and this woman came up to me at church and she's like, "Hey, are you training for Canine Companions?" And I said, "Yeah." And an opportunity to talk about the organization. So we talked and she says, I said, "You know about Canine Companions?" She says, "Yes, my daughter's getting a dog." So I was like, oh, I was all excited because we all went to the same church. I was like, oh, I'll get to see my dog, right? So fast forward about 6 months, I see the mother again. I said, "Hey, how's things going with the dog?" And she goes, "Well, the dog's, Lily is going to team training in June. My dog didn't turn in until August." So I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's not going to happen. So fast forward to January, I get the call that October, I kind of skipped a little bit. What happened was the night before Lily was supposed to go to team training, she has brittle bone disorder. So she actually fell out of her wheelchair and broke bones. So she wasn't able to go to team training. And the next team training, her mother was in nursing school. So here we are in January and I get this call and a man tells me, "Your dog has made a pre-match." And I'm like, "Can you tell me anything about the graduate?" And he said, "She's 14 years old." And I'm like, "That's all you can tell me?" He goes, "Yep, she won't let me tell you anything else." So make a long story short, it ended up being Lily. And I had no idea because I had thought I didn't know about all this stuff in her life that had happened. So I actually have a second family. So that was like a real blessing that, and a miracle that all worked out. So she has my first service dog and she calls me her grandmother. I'm 50 years older than her. So I am her grandma. But those kind of things happen. And then you realize the value of all the time and the heartache that you go through, what the dog ends up doing. So yeah, that's my miracle story.
Are there any other questions from the group or online? I'm not seeing any online. We good? All righty. Well, thank you guys for being here and for showing us the commands and telling us about your organization. I think this is the second time you've been with CDFA, but it's been a while since we saw you here last time. So thank you for being here. Thank you everybody for being here in person. Thank you for everybody online. Caroline says the work you and the dogs in parentheses do is amazing. Thank you for the presentation. So we still have one more event scheduled for next week. SPCA, Sacramento SPCA will be here talking about their Love on Loan event. And don't forget, we are still doing a donation drive for the SPCA as well. You can take it to the quad and on the 4th floor here in headquarters. You can take it to the Office of Civil Rights on the 4th floor in headquarters. There's also 2 other collection sites, one at the Inspection Services Division building and one at the Citrus Division building. And those are all in emails that have gone out, so keep an eye out for those. Otherwise, thank you everybody for being here. We'll go ahead and stop the online recording and the online presentation. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
They can put they want.